So the first proper trailer for Avengers Doomsday was recently shown at Cineacon. Now, it hasn't been released online yet. I think it probably should be if the studio hopes to build sufficient hype for the film. And I do want to talk about it. But first things first, I saw someone describe Avengers Doomsday as being like throwing a bunch of random action figures together. And I think that's a very appropriate description. With the multiverse, it's made the past events of the MCU, in particular Endgame, effectively kind of meaningless. Dead characters can be resurrected. Characters from different universes that aren't connected can now appear on screen together, like, for example, the X-Men. It's like when you were a kid and you were playing with toy action figures and you'd have these fights between completely unrelated characters sometimes from different franchises. That's what the multiverse is for these movies, except adults are expected to take it seriously as well. Now, we know from the leaks that the end of the film is rumored to have a massive universe reset triggered by Doom and the creation of Battleworld as part of the story for Avengers Secret Wars. While Infinity War and Endgame had very large casts of characters, at least there was a plot there. And it was logical. Thanos was a character that was established over several years and multiple films, and he was attempting to wipe out half of all life in the universe using the Infinity Stones. In this film, it's really just about cramming your favorite characters on screen at the same time, in order to convince you to pay money to see them in the cinema. And ultimately, Doomsday sounds like a weaker retreading of Infinity War. Doom is going around doing multiverse stuff and basically MacGuffin hunts, which ultimately leads all of these different superhero teams to work together against him to try to fight him in an end battle. They lose, he wins, Battleworld is created, he sits on his throne as king, and that kind of feels very similar to the end of Infinity War, with Thanos having defeated our heroes, sitting in his little home, looking pleased with himself before the credits roll. It's very derivative at this point. Doomsday sounds like an inferior Infinity War to me. And as you know, I read through the plot leak a few weeks ago, and as I said then, it sounds like the only way this multiverse messy plot can work is with an enormous amount of exposition in order to justify all of these character crossovers, which will likely just bog the movie down. Earlier this year and late last year, they released some teaser trailers. There was these 4 teaser trailers. There was a Steve Rogers one, a Thor one, a Black Panther Fantastic Four teaser, and the X-Men teaser. And these teasers were all part of the marketing campaign for the film. But since then, there's basically been nothing, except now we've had this Cineacon trailer, which isn't available yet to the general public. I think it should be, but of course it's possible Disney Marvel don't want to overshadow Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is coming out in July. But it does feel like the hype for Doomsday and the momentum they were trying to build a couple of months ago has completely died down, even with the recent Cineacon trailer. I'm seeing more apathy online rather than excitement. So let's take a look now at this article from Variety. Avengers Doomsday trailer, Thor battles Doctor Doom, Chris Evans picks up the hammer, X-Men back in action in thrilling Cineacon footage. To the thrill of exhibitors from Seattle to Key West, Disney unveiled the first full-length trailer for Avengers Doomsday at Cineacon as part of the studio's presentation to theatre owners. Until now, Marvel has only offered 4 brief teasers focusing on Steve Rogers, formerly known as Captain America, Thor, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, all answering the ultimate call to battle. And so this is the first proper trailer for the movie, which of course is due out in December of this year. The trailer starts with a look at Downey Jr.'s green-hooded, metal-faced Doctor Doom as he prepares to invade the multiverse. There's a shot of Professor Xavier, Patrick Stewart, looking out his ex-mansion's window as a bright flash of light is outside, signaling trouble. It's a flood of crossovers from there: Gambit, Channing Tatum, and Shang-Chi, Simu Liu, battle. Mystique, Rebecca Romaine, transforms into Yelena Belova, resulting in a Florence Pugh versus Florence Pugh fight. And Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and Doom face off, but Doom catches Thor's magical hammer, Mjolnir, with his bare hands. Well, yeah, that's hardly a surprise, though. I mean, both Steve Rogers and Vision proved in past films that they were also able to lift Thor's hammer, so I guess the God of Thunder no longer has exclusivity on that ability anymore. So yeah, I'm not really surprised that that Doctor Doom is also able to lift Thor's hammer. The biggest moment comes when Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, makes his triumphant return and reunites with Thor. The Asgardian is shocked at his Avengers teammate's arrival, given that Cap had gone back in time to grow old with his sweetheart Peggy Carter in Endgame and passed down the mantle to Sam Wilson. And like I said before, I'm really disappointed that they're upsetting that ending for Endgame, which I think was perfect for the character of Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter. It's unclear how Cap is back, but he's clearly still worthy enough to pick up Thor's hammer, just like he did during the Thanos battle in Endgame. This trailer will likely be released in the coming weeks. There's nothing really there that is all that surprising at this point. Interest in the trailer seemed to spike online for a bit, of course, but I'm not seeing quite as much interest now. I think the reason for that is simple. The MCU's best days are behind it. The last couple of phases have been poor. But one wonders if Disney Marvel's strategy of relying on nostalgia and gimmicky crossovers enabled by the multiverse plot device was really the right choice for this film. It feels like to me that they brought the multiverse into the MCU as a last resort, a kind of a last ditch thing to excite some interest. I mean, all other storylines have been exhausted, right? Everything else has been done. Characters have had their story arcs paid off and brought to completion. And so the multiverse is this gimmick that lets them do all sorts of wild things that they previously couldn't. They can magically undo deaths. They can do all these crossovers with different universes. Everything is up for grabs. And the previous rules of the universe no longer apply. So it gives them enormous flexibility to do things with the universe that previously weren't possible. But I don't think that's actually a good thing, because ultimately the multiverse is about finding a new way to titillate fans with the novelty of having all these character crossovers. That's ultimately what it's about. And so it's about getting people on screen rather than focusing on telling an interesting and engaging storyline. It's all style over substance. The quality of the story is secondary to the novelty of the crossovers. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Just so you know, I'm doing more videos now over on my other channel, Computing Forever. So if you want to see my latest videos, head on over there. Follow the link below in the description box. Please subscribe to that channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe over here as well on The Dave Cullen Show. Hit that notification bell to be notified of future updates. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.